So I want to talk about your new record, Midnight Hallelujah. First, tell us a little bit about the images on the cover of your record. It looks like a flooded home. I can't tell whether it's New Orleans or what's that all about?
Yeah, the front and back cover of the new record are photos from New Orleans, from post-Katrina devastation. And one of the songs was inspired by the cover, where in the corner there's this really nasty-looking Jesus picture. And I saw this photo journal about 10 years ago, I guess, and I was so struck by the devastation of this house. I mean, the piano's on its side. There's mold everywhere. You can see the water line halfway up the side of the wall, and then there's this nasty-looking Jesus on the wall. I'm like, that's really a massive, mean-looking Jesus. Like, and look what happened. Like, where was he? So I ended up writing this song called Mean Looking Jesus on the record. So and I'm like, well, maybe I can get that picture for the cover.
So there's an obscure roundabout reason, but we get it now. So now
Yeah,
I get it. I was
now
trying
that
to.
it's out,
I knew there was a reason. I knew there was a connection.
Yeah, I kind of think, like, it really doesn't make a lot of sense when you first see it, but now that you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and Midnight Hallelujah is also kind of, it sounds both ominous and joyous.
Yeah, I like to kind of mix it up. I think that I live for that balance of dark and light and the way they coexist. It's like the play I wrote about me and my mother. There's this amazing tragedy, but at the same time, this ridiculous comedy. And I live for that, and I live for trying to get that into a chorus and a verse, you know.
Speaking of which, so the play is called My Mother Has Four Noses.
Yeah.
And you were your mother's companion and caretaker and muse and foil.
Yeah.
And did she encourage you to write everything down?
She did.
Yeah.
My mother was a writer. She was a poet. She also was a clown. She went to clown school when I was in 7th grade and came home in full makeup, polka-dotted suit, bowler hat, and a wig, and told us we could call her Stony the Clown. Stone was her maiden name. So, of course, 7th grade, I was just mortified. It was probably the worst thing you could do to your daughter.
No, you can't come over for a sleepover.
Mom's doing that clown thing again. Damn. But yes, and I mean, the irony, obviously, is that she ended up having dementia, and she did have four noses. My mother had skin cancer that basically did a number on her face, so she ended up with these four prosthetic noses, which, as she got more and more into the throes of Alzheimer's, became great fodder for the daily humor. And so often we would make up plays about the noses or about breakfast, and Mom would always love to make us laugh. And even when she couldn't find the words she was looking for, she would just make stuff up like, "You might be refrigerated for other expectations." And then I would be cracking up, and she'd be like, "Well, Booley," my nickname, "are you getting this down? This is really good stuff. Now we need to make a play out of it." So
wow.
I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm
amazed that, and what was the ratio of times where you were actually thought something was funny as opposed to like really scary and like terrifying because your mother was speaking nonsense?
It was probably even,
yeah.
50-50.
Yeah. Wow. So there's your one-woman play, and that is something that was off Broadway. You've performed it. It's been happening.
Yeah, we did 12 weeks off Broadway, right across from Lion King. So my mother has four noses at the Duke Theater on 42nd Street.
Wild. And now I know you've moved to Minneapolis.
Yes.
So you left shortly after Election Day. Was this a good time for upheaval in general?
Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Minneapolis is welcoming you with its nice frigid
weather?
Winter. Yeah.
It is actually. I mean, I've only been there a month, so I really love it so far. I didn't like the 8 below day, but I just stayed home.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time you were here, you were probably on a major label. The world has changed in terms of making records. I know you had some crowdfunding help with this record, which is kind of a sweet way to make a record in a way because you have more people connected to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then now you have to do all the work that your record company used to do.
Yep.
So how's that going?
It's going okay. It is a very, very different world. And on the one hand, it's so nice to, you feel like you really have built this community. You know your friends and people who have helped fund your work. I mean, you're so much more connected, and that's amazing. And I have become friends with so many of the people that have donated to my records over the last couple years. At the other end of the thing, it's daunting, and you're doing everything. You're the promoter, you're the social media master, you have to do the artwork, you gotta make up the liner notes and call the radio people, and
Well, you've always been a creative powerhouse of one kind or another, so I'm sure you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
And I should mention to our radio audience that you're looking spectacular.
Oh,
with
thanks.
some really good leopard print shoes.
I wore my good shoes.
Yeah, I think radio audience appreciates it. Anyway, we're glad you're back.
Thank
and I
you,
know we got
Nick.
more music to get to, so let's do that.
Should we do some more?
Yeah, welcome back, Jonatha Brooke.
You say don't worry, you say don't fret. I say I can't get enough of you yet. You say tomorrow will come what may.
Hi, this is Nick Forster from eTown. If you want to stay up to date with all the performances, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage, click the subscribe button. Thanks.